Hey, we are tracking storms across West Texas right now and the panhandle of Texas and then out into Oklahoma as well. Hey, do me a quick favor. I'm producing by myself tonight, so let me know that you can hear me in the comments section. We got some absolutely massive hail out in West Texas today, 5 inches in size, and we're going to talk about some of the largest hail that we've seen so far this evening, but I'm just waiting to make sure that our audio is working, so I'm going to wait and see if our chat is working as well before we get into all of those details and all of those specifics that we have to talk about from storms that have happened tonight. You know, we started off in Omaha just a little bit ago, and I hear my audio, so it sounds like it's working. Okay, it should be working, so that means that we can continue with our forecast here. You know, you guys know the drill here, whenever I produce by myself, it takes us a little bit better. And thank you, I appreciate a few of us commenting and saying the audio works. All right, let's get to it then. Hey, 5-inch hailstone reported out just to the east of Lubbock just a few minutes ago. This may be about 45 minutes ago at this point. But we still are watching that storm. We've got 2 tornado warnings out here. So let's get down into it. Let's get some information on these warnings. So this is going into Roaring Springs right now. This was the storm that produced that 5-inch hailstone. Now it's only warned for 2 inches, only 2 inches. Now it's a big downgrade from what we saw earlier this evening, but it's still a very, very powerful storm. This severe thunderstorm, this tornado warning, goes until 9 o'clock. So we've got another 40 minutes on this. Again, in Roaring Springs, it's just to the south of Matador. Very, very photogenic storm, very impressive storm from what we've seen already this evening. Now another storm that has produced a tornado already, so it's capable of producing one again. Tornado warned here until about 8:45. Max size here, 4 inches in size. Let's see if I can get a little bit more information on this storm. Looks like this is the information that I've got right now. So max hail size here up to 4 inches. And yeah, this goes until 8:45. So this is just to the south of the storm that we were looking at earlier. Let's go out a little bit and get your bearings on where we are, just to the east of Lubbock. So here's Lubbock, Texas. And then if you go a little farther to the south and east, you can see this storm. Great shape on it, an absolutely great radar signature right here to produce either a tornado or some large hail or both. So up to 4 inches in size. That is a massive hailstone. That's about the size of a softball. Now that 5-incher earlier, that's the size of a DVD. Yes, it's an absolutely massive storm here, or absolutely massive hail size. Rather. Now we've got another storm farther down to the south, Tahoka, I hope I'm saying that correctly, up to tennis ball size hail in this area. Now this is a little bit more populated, so we've got about 3,300 people over here, and you can see that's just near Post, near Tahoka, Texas. Now zooming out, because I want to get out of Texas, or maybe out of this area of Texas, I want to go up to the north here because we've got a few more storms to talk about in the northern side of the Texas Panhandle and into Oklahoma as well. Now this tornado warning right here has, I think we've gotten at least one report of that tornado on the ground already from this storm tonight. Now it does not look like it's confirmed right now. However, you could see some large hail from this up to about the size of a golf ball, impacting more people here, about 5,000 people in this area. This tornado warning goes until 9 o'clock tonight, and I think that this is just to the south of Woodward. Let's zoom down. Let's really get down into this warning here and take a look at where exactly, just to the south of Alva, Oklahoma, to the north of Woodward, to the south of Alva. So again, this tornado warning goes until 9 o'clock tonight, impacting about 5,000 people here. Already has produced some pretty large hail in this area as well. So moving down to the south, I saw another severe thunderstorm warning down here. So let's just keep on. We're going around the radar right now. We're just going to go around and check on a few of these storms. We're going to talk about some of the largest hail that we've seen tonight, because we've seen several 3-inch reports. Hey, did you guys see that 3-inch report that we saw up in Omaha? We covered this storm while it was live going through the city, and now we have tons of pictures on our social media pages from some massive hail down there, about 3 inches in size. All right, let's go to Spearman now. Spearman, this is warned for 2 inches. So we've got just larger than the size of a golf ball and about larger than the size of a baseball coming into Canadian right here. So let me zoom out and show you exactly what we're looking at here. So this is in the northeast side of the Texas Panhandle. There's your Oklahoma Panhandle right here. There's your Texas Panhandle. That's where that 3-inch storm could be, or that 3-inch hail could be right there in that storm, that southern edge of the cluster of storms here. 3-inch size hail, that warning goes until 8:45 this evening. Now I do want to check on this storm report right here. Let's see, what have we already gotten from this storm out in Spearman? Spearman, Texas. Golf ball size hail, okay, pretty good. I don't know if you can see that. Golf ball size hail. Spearman, Texas, that's Hansford County. That was right around 7:35, so about an hour ago we got that hail report. All right, let's keep going around. Let's go up to Kansas now because we've got some really large hail in Kansas as well. I think I saw earlier 2-3 inches for these large hailstones up in Kansas. So this will be next to Dodge City and Kingsley, Kansas. Already seeing reports of quarter-size hail, or maybe a bit smaller than the size of a quarter. Ping pong ball size hail. There's another quarter. And ooh, there you go. There's tennis ball size hail up in Kingsley, Kansas. One question about Council Bluffs earlier. I know it's past radar, but was that a question or a comment here? Let me go back and read this again. What areas in Council Bluffs got hit earlier? So this was up in the east side of Omaha. Is that correct, Council Bluffs? Yes. So on the Iowa side of Omaha, I don't know the roads exactly. I know that we have that mapped on the Hail Trace app because I sent in that picture and our Mets got it. So they've seen that picture. But yeah, we saw 3-inch size hail, and that picture is on our social media. But that's what we saw out in Council Bluffs just a few hours ago. We were live during that storm. We were saying it's tornado warned. We could see some large hail, not only on the west side of the city, but then that storm re-intensified on the east side of the city as well. Alrighty, let's move on to some of these storms out in Kansas. So this severe thunderstorm warning in Kingsley is warned for, let's see, that's the watch. Here's the warning, 2-inch size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds. That goes until 8:30. So we've got a few minutes left on that warning here. Pretty decent looking storm right there. And then another warning, 70-mile-per-hour wind speed. So what we have seen with these storms that are farther up into Kansas and not in Texas, 70-mile-per-hour wind speed, we've seen some higher winds with these storms that are up in Kansas. And 2-inch size hail. So this is just outside of Dodge City going into Kingsley, Kansas. Kingsley, Kansas, am I saying that correctly? And I think we've got another one going into just to the south of Hayes. Okay, let's see what this one is warned for as well. 1-inch size hail. Okay, so the farther north that you go, and you're going to see this as a trend in other states as well, because I think that we're going to go up to Iowa next, and then we'll go into Colorado after that. Now what you're going to see is the farther north that you go, the smaller those hail sizes and the weaker those storms. So you go farther down into Texas, massive hail, good tornado risk down there, but you stay up into northern Kansas, Iowa, Colorado, you're going to see those smaller hail sizes. But let's go up there. Let's take a look at those states because, yeah, you're right. We did see that big Omaha storm earlier produced that 3-inch size hail, so I guess it's just not out of the question. No storms in Nebraska right now. Do we have anything in Iowa either? No. We've got some rain up there, but we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings. Now let's check on these storms out of Marysville and out of Lynn, Kansas. So this is in the far northern side of the state. 1-inch size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. 1-inch size hail, 50-mile-per-hour wind gust. Much, much weaker the farther north that you go. And we've got a few reports out of Colorado, so let's check on that, and then we'll go back down and answer some of your questions down into Texas. There you go. There's some golf ball size hail reports out in Colorado, ping pong ball size hail reports, and this severe thunderstorm warning is for 1-inch size hail, quarter size hail here, and 60-mile-per-hour wind speeds. Now what you're going to see is as these storms start to congeal into a line like this, it's a lot harder for them to produce those larger hailstones, okay? They really need to stay isolated, kind of like what we're seeing down in Texas right now, to get that good inflow and keep these storms organized. So right now what we're seeing out in Colorado is smaller hail, if any hail at all. This will most likely be a minor wind event. Now, we are seeing some really large hailstones out near Dodge City. This is actually going into a pretty populated area now. Dodge City, about 1,700 people on the northeast side of the city. And 2-inch size hail could impact a good amount of people right here. Let's keep going down to the south because, of course, we've been talking about this for the last few minutes here, is that those storms are much more impressive as you get down into Texas. And there you go. Very, very impressive down in Texas. Now, let me see if I've missed any questions while we've been talking here. I don't see any questions that I've missed, but if you're on Facebook and if you're on YouTube, I can see your questions and I can respond as you ask those questions. Let me know where you're watching from. I know that we have a lot of people. I can see our account on Twitter right now, so thanks for watching us on Twitter, but you can't comment on Twitter, so I can't see any of your questions. Hop over to our Facebook or our YouTube pages if you do have any weather questions. Alrighty, last but not least, we'll get down into the southwest side of Texas. Let's take a look at this here. Possibly, if I can get my radar to work. There you go. Alrighty, so down in the southern side of Texas, we have a tornado warning. Let's get some information on this storm. Now, I did have in my forecast today, I had that risk for large hail a lot smaller the farther south that you went. So I don't think that we're going to see as large hailstones down in the southwest side of Texas. This right here is warned for about golf ball size hail. But those more impressive storms are farther up into the Texas and Oklahoma panhandle, which is exactly what we expected today. We expected this to be large. We expected these hailstones to be just massive today. I said larger than the size of a baseball, and yes, this overperformed. We didn't expect to see those 5-inch size hailstones. I actually saw a question on here, and I'll pull it back up. Where did we see 5-inch hail? Great question, and that was just to the south and west of Matador, Texas. So you can see Matador, Texas up here, so that'll be in western Texas. But you know what? I can get the exact location of that storm report. We actually saw pictures of this. I mean, it's a massive hailstone. It's about the size of a DVD, which is absolutely impressive. Shocking, impressive, exciting. I don't know. What word do you use there whenever you talk about 5.2 inches was the exact size of that hailstone? And while this loads for me to get the exact location of where that was, I don't think that our radar goes back any farther. Or I would show you a full loop and we could see that really, really impressive storm. It did produce a tornado. It was a very, very large tornado as well, farther back to the north and west here. So it kind of came up from Plainview and then near Matador. So right now we've gotten tornado reports, but I haven't seen any other hail reports in there. This says out in Motley, a tornado briefly absorbed near Roaring Springs, and that was at 8:02. So it looks like the storm has calmed down just a little bit here. Okay, let's see if my storm reports page is loaded. And I'll get you that exact location of that 5-incher. But what we're going to do is I have some radar views of that storm, and we're going to post those later on this evening. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on our Facebook pages. We're always posting new information about storms. We were talking about the Omaha storm earlier, which was pretty impressive. Yeah, Sunny says crazy. It is absolutely insane. Lubbock, some questions about hail in Lubbock. All right. My storm reports have loaded, so let's get to some of those exact locations. So the closest city to that 5-inch size hailstone, 5.2 inches is what we have here. That's in Flomont. I'm not quite sure I'm saying that correctly. So it's just outside of Matador, Texas. Flomont, in between Matador and Plainview, Texas. Motley, just outside of Motley County. I think it's Floyd County is where that storm report is coming from. We got a 4-incher in here as well. So it wasn't just a one-off to get this 5-inch size hail. We got lots of large hailstones here. Now, for your question about hail in Lubbock, storms have just barely missed you here. They're farther out to your west. We have had some significant hail reports out to the west, but we haven't had any of those large hail reports in Lubbock itself. It's been farther out to the west, kind of like what you see now. We've had these storms out to the west. We've seen some massive hail in this area, but they have been, farther out to the east. Farther out to the east of Lubbock. So we haven't seen any large hail inside Lubbock. It's been farther out to the east. Any other questions here? So one last look at the radar before I hop off of here this evening. Here's what we have. We still have a tornado watch, severe thunderstorm watch in effect through tonight, so stay weather aware if you're highlighted in any of these pink boxes right here, because we are expecting these severe storms to continue as we head into the late night hours. We've got several tornado warnings in effect right now, one out in northern Oklahoma near Alva. Lots of large hail also reported over the last few hours here, up to 5 inches in hail size here. I mean, that's absolutely insane. But we got some 2, 3, 4 inches hail size in there as well. Last question here, one person asking about the Omaha report. So we did have a really significant storm come through Omaha earlier on this evening, right around your evening commute. That was about 4:30, 4:45. This late afternoon, evening hours. Now what we saw from this was about 3 inches. That's the hail size, the largest hail size that I saw at least verified on the ground, 3 inches inside, not only on the east side of the city, but also on the west side of the city. Right in the middle of that there, we did see a potential tornado. I don't know if that was confirmed or not. I didn't see anything about it being confirmed, but we did see some pretty significant lowerings, and those pictures are also on our social media. So we'll continue to watch this here. Missed the Omaha report. There's your Omaha report, but I did post a recap on our Facebook and on our YouTube pages, so you can check out that recap if you want more information about that storm. Alrighty, thanks for joining us on this Thursday evening, late in the evening. So we'll be back with your forecast tomorrow at noon. We will see you at lunch.